introduction. Hello, Twin Valley. It's great to be back. It's great to see familiar faces, to drive on the same windy country roads once again, and to smell the sweet, all too familiar fragrance of freshly fertilized fields. So much remains the same, and yet so much has changed, both for me and for Twin Valley. For one thing, the high school is much bigger. When I was a student here, we didn't have fancy things like air conditioning, and the computers were made out of stone. Okay, not really, I'm not that old. They were actually made out of wood. When I ran cross country here, the thing we called a track was made out of cinder, and it turned into mush when it rained. Now you have a fantastic all-weather track to softly place your feet upon. Lastly, and you might not believe this, but Morgantown wasn't always the sprawling metropolis that it is today. No, when I was a kid, we didn't have Dunkin' Donuts, or Sonic, or Walmart. We only had Turkey Hill, and some guy who used to sell shoe-fly pie out the back of his car. Despite all these changes, it still seems like only yesterday that I sat in the same seats that you're sitting in here tonight. Hard to believe that it's been over 15 years since I too was inducted into the National Honor Society, and to the delight of my parents, got to wear a special white cap and gown at graduation. Being inducted into the National Honor Society is a great honor, and you should be proud of your achievement. It is a direct reflection of the hard work and diligence you've shown as a student to date. And I have no doubt that it will serve you well in your future endeavors. Congratulations. Okay, now on to the important stuff. They asked me here tonight to share some words of wisdom based on the experiences I've had to date. So tonight, I'm going to share with you 3 stories. That's it. The first story is about taking risks. When I was a junior at Albright College, I got an internship at a new online payments company called PayPal, based in Northern California, the heart of Silicon Valley. At the time, the company only had about 25 employees, and the farthest I had been from home up to that point was Florida. It was an eye-opening experience, to say the least. I did odd jobs like email Beanie Baby sellers on eBay, telling them about our cool new service that will allow them to accept credit card payments on their eBay listings. I remember riding my bike to Stanford basketball games, handing out PayPal t-shirts, hoping to drum up interest in our company and possibly recruit a few talented engineers to come join us. The founders of PayPal, Peter Thiel and Max Levchin, had no prior experience working in payments, but they saw a pain point and decided to try to build a solution to solve it. On the last day of my internship, my manager surprised me by offering me a full-time job. The only catch would be that I'd have to drop out of college right away. He gave me 1 week to decide, and I contemplated my options as I sat on my flight back to Philly. One path was very risky, joining an unproven startup that could go bankrupt at any time. The other path, relatively safe and clearly defined, finishing up my senior year at college. I ended up choosing option 2 and going back to school. There was no right or wrong answer to this decision, just 2 different paths. However, after watching PayPal from afar subsequently go on to enjoy massive success, a successful IPO, and then a billion-dollar acquisition by eBay, I kicked myself a little for turning down the offer. The PayPal experience sets the stage for my next story. This story is about a little website called YouTube. In case you haven't heard of it, let me give you a brief overview so you can get up to speed. YouTube is a site that was started by my brother Chad and Steve Chen. I joined the company in the very early days as part of the founding team, agreeing to work without pay in exchange for an endless supply of ramen noodles and Mountain Dew. From our humble beginnings, YouTube quickly grew beyond our wildest expectations and became the greatest place the world has ever seen to share funny cat videos with your friends. But it also turned into a place where the first online US presidential debate was held. A place where the Pope, the Dalai Lama, the Queen of England all spread their respective messages to the world. and a place where a single video can spark a revolution. We're extremely proud of what we've built and extremely thankful for the success we've had. So how do we do it? To tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure. In many respects, it was a little like hitting the lottery, but luck wasn't the primary ingredient. And sorry to break the news to you, but there is no simple formula for success. I can tell you that the PayPal experience had a big effect on us. Both my brother Chad and Steve Chen were early employees there as well, and being surrounded by that kind of success was infectious. It demystified the startup process and made us think, hey, if these guys, Peter and Max, the founders of PayPal, could do it, then why couldn't we? At the time, we realized that sharing videos online was a difficult process. So, despite not having any prior experience in video, we decided to try to solve this problem. And because I had turned down that earlier offer PayPal had given me, when Chad and Steve asked me to join, I jumped at the opportunity. As the saying goes, you can't hit a home run without trying to swing the bat. YouTube would never have happened if we didn't take a swing. We took a leap of faith without knowing where we might land, and that has made all the difference. There are certain things in life generally within your control, such as doing your homework, graduating from high school. Conversely, there are things outside of your control, things like predicting where the stock market might be in 5 years, or knowing if and when the Philadelphia Eagles might finally win their first Super Bowl. For the record, I think it's this season. I have a good feeling about it. We could have never planned at the outset for YouTube to become as big as it has become today. But the success was able to emerge as a consequence of deliberate actions we took along the way. We worked hard and tried to position ourselves for success, to be in the right place at the right time. We tried to increase our odds of getting lucky by growing our professional networks and meeting interesting people, many of whom would later go on to join us at YouTube. I feel succeeding in business and life in general is a balancing act. It's acting with confidence yet being humble. It's about having your head in the clouds and keeping your feet on the ground. It's about having a deliberate plan in place and making the most of opportunities, but going with the flow and letting things emerge. Don't be afraid to take risks and seek opportunities. Even if YouTube had failed, we would have learned a lot along the way. Which leads me to my third and final story. It's a story about venturing outside your comfort zone. After Google acquired YouTube, I stayed on for a few years working on the business development team, but then started looking for where I might jump next. I decided to apply to business school, and after attending Albright College, what many refer to endearingly as the Harvard of Pennsylvania, I, a small-town kid from the sticks, got accepted into Harvard Business School. By all accounts, after my YouTube experience, I didn't really need to go back to school, but I wanted to. I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could hang with the Ivy Leaguers. It was an intimidating and humbling experience being around so many accomplished individuals, especially when trying to articulate my thoughts and argue my point of view amongst them. But I survived and I learned a lot, because you learn the most when you challenge yourself and step outside of your comfort zone. I encourage you to do the same. Seek out opportunities both near and far, both small and large. Embrace the opportunities you're fortunate to receive and make the most of them. There's no excuse saying there aren't any interesting opportunities available to you. You need to look. With an internet connection, you're just a mouse click away from the next big thing. Stop reading Facebook and quit watching so many YouTube videos. Try to understand what's going on in the rest of the world around you and have an opinion about it. Remember that life isn't a dress rehearsal and chance favors the prepared mind. And if you hit a bump along the way, roll with the punches and try to put things into perspective. Which leads me to my final point. If you remember anything about this talk from tonight, I hope you remember this. I was just like you. I graduated from Twin Valley High School, as my brother and sister had done before me, and as you will do in a few short weeks or next year if you're juniors. So, if I can do it, so can you. I thank you for letting me speak here tonight. As you head out into the world, I wish you much success, much laughter, and much love. Be brave, be curious, and don't forget to call your parents every once in a while. Thanks.